Honestly, truthfully, it is. It's definitely worth the hype. Taman's B side is definitely worth the hype, is worth checking out. I understand that maybe this may be a bit early for some who hasn't watched the final episode yet, but I'm here to just talk about it now and let my thoughts rip as it goes because I think that Taman's B side is gonna go down as not only one of JC staff, yes, the infamous JC staff's best anime to come out in quite a while, mind you, outside like the Danmachi's recent seasons, of course. But this showcases that Taman's B side is full of nuts and butts charisma, comedy, care put into it, and it shows that JC Staff can animate some really good shows, not like what happened with the Godforsaken Soul One Punch Man Season 3. But enough about that, right? Taman's B side. This show has absolutely been incredible. I loved it when when the show first came out on the first episode. I even made a halfway point, somewhat review of it, talking about my thoughts and feelings up to that point. And I can confidently say now that this show is one of a kind, unique, and just overall like really fun to watch. And again, honestly, even though like as I explained the synopsis of what the show's all about, this is not going to be for everybody first and foremost. And I understand that if you're someone that's like ooh a K-pop group, a boy band group, ew, gross, go away. I don't want to watch anything like that. I get that sentiment, but I feel like if you put that bias aside, I feel like you're going to enjoy a lot of bang for your buck for this anime show, especially if you're someone that just loves some really good music, some really good humor, and some shockingly really good slice of life and comedy moments that can honestly at times be borderline cringe, but in a really good, really playful manner. And like I said, the character dynamics in the show is just so good. It still holds up so well all the way to the end. I cannot deny that the relationship between Tamon and Kinoshita-san, who are the two main people that star this show, have had this really strong bond. And you can tell that as you start the show off at its core and up to its most recent episode, their bond has grown so strong, so fondly, that it really just holds a candle to where we're at now in the current show itself. And it's also nice to know that it was not only diving into like Tamon Kun's like opposite side of how he is when he's not under the limelight, the cameras, all the money, the cars, the clothes and shit. There's a side of him where he's depressed, he has full anxiety, he has so much self-doubt, and he doesn't feel confident in himself. But every time that he's with Kinoshita-san, he feels some sort of confidence and some build up put up to the point that he doesn't put on his fake mask persona to get what he wants all, at times. And it's really good. It's really heartfelt. I like it. And I also want to highlight the other characters in the Face music group, which was portrayed in the show. The biggest highlight for sure is Natsuki kun, the blonde hair one to be specific. And his character, his upbringing, like initially when you first meet him, you think it's like a dumb, bumbling fucking idiot that you just don't give two shits about. But in these recent episodes, especially where I last talked about this, they did a great job diving in and explaining his character so well to the point that you actually understand why he had to put up his fake persona once again. Where again, it's his old romantic backstory and why he became in part of the face group in the first place. It's really good. It's really endearing. Even someone like Ori-san, aka who has the nickname Gorilla, also has a really good backstory, really fun, and kind of throws in like a bit of a wrench in the works between Kinoshita and Tamon Kun's relationship, and now it's like a possible will Kenosha choose Tamon? Will she choose Ori-kun? If that makes sense. And finally, with Kato Tachibana, I think Kato's character definitely one of the biggest surprises still to this day, where his B side is super polar opposite from the other members of the group. So unlike the other members that I've talked about, some of them is like pretty obvious and you kind of know like what to expect. Kato's case is so like super different to where he comes off as super nice, really kind, and then immediately you know his B side. You would think that okay, maybe he's a little bit nicer, but no, he just switches that shit off and he's just like he just doesn't give a fuck. He's so strict. He's kind of like the kid that's like so like we need to get this done. We need to focus on the task at hand. We need the money. We need this for the sake of doing this. And it could come off a little harsh at times. I'm not gonna lie, but I liked his character nonetheless, and the same applies to every other character in the group. If there is one character that I have omitted in this up until this point, is a character named Rintaro Kai. He's the like silent, stoic, really tough guy type of person in the face group, and his character, like I said, even though we don't like dive deep into him, I do see like why he's part of the face group in the first place. I will say though, it is kind of a shame that we didn't get much of a glimpse of what his B side was, since it felt like it was teased towards like the middle half of the show, but it never really dived deep into it. But I mean, as of me recording this video, I haven't watched the final episode yet, so there's a good chance that maybe Rentaro's B side gets revealed. Who knows? But with one episode left, I don't think it's gonna happen there, sadly. And of course, there's going to be those moments where there's some criticisms about this anime. So I have a few criticisms with the show that I will say that right off the bat, the humor can be a bit much at times. So what I mean by that is that when there are moments when Tamon-kun goes into his other version of himself where he's like, full of anxiety, full of self-doubt, and he's just like, oh no, what if the world hates me? What if the world sees me and you together? Like, and sometimes it can be a bit much. I'm not gonna lie. And there's also moments where, because Kinoshita is like a huge fangirl for the face group, there could be times where like her attitude, the way she appeals to herself, was like, oh my god, they're showing off too much sexiness. Like, oh my god, my head's gonna fucking explode. And then we get the punchline left and right, bring a dinger, what have you. So there are moments where like maybe the humor could be a bit over the top and a bit too much. But honestly, I feel like even despite those moments where it can be a bit too much, or maybe sometimes there are jokes that don't stick the landing half the time, I think that this show really pulls out all the stops. And you can tell that there was a lot of passion, a lot of fun put into these jokes and to the punchline at the end of the day. And like I said, this isn't going to like reinvent the wheelhouse of like the romance, slice of life comedy, boy band, anime, what have you. But I do think that a show of this caliber that was delivered by somehow none other than JC Staff, like it's crazy that a show can really hit a flash in the pan and really deliver on all four fronts all around. So again, I think the show is absolutely incredible. I have no doubt that if they really continue this momentum and stick with the same people that worked on Taman's B side currently, I think a season two of the show could more or less be in the works in the near future, and I think it can go a long way. But as of right now, I feel like this is again one of those shows that could appeal to a niche audience at the end of the day. But again, if you're those that love slice of life comedy, romance, and maybe like a boy band group, K-pop group mixture into your anime, I think Taman's B-side is the one for you, honestly, personally. So as of right now, this might be a bit high to score, but I honestly think that this show is deserving of the praises that it deserves. I think that this is like a strong 7 to a light 8 on a really good day. It's so good. I think this is absolutely incredible. Some really nice, strong, underrated, and amazing moments that are worth sticking with you, and scenes that I think are just going to stick with me for many years to come. So yeah, Taman's B-side, absolutely incredible. I definitely would recommend this to anyone who hasn't watched the show already. Go give it a shot, man. It's incredible to check out, and I simply just want to yap about this once again. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you on the next one later.